The morning of my wedding dawned bright and promising. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my veil, excitement bubbling in my chest. The small town of Maplewood was alive with the energy of celebration, and I, Samantha Hale, was about to step into my happily ever after with Mark, the love of my life. As I took a deep breath, a nagging feeling tugged at the back of my mind. My sister, Emily, had always been the wild card in our family, a free spirit with an uncanny knack for making everything about her. But today was supposed to be about me. I shook off the unease and headed to the church. As I entered, the sweet scent of lavender filled the air, and my heart swelled with joy. Guests filled the pews, laughter and chatter echoing around me. But then, a sudden hush fell over the crowd. I froze. At the front, in a breathtaking white gown that looked strikingly familiar, stood Emily, basking in the attention. "What's she doing here?" I murmured to Jenna, my maid of honor. "She's not supposed to be here." Jenna's eyes widened as she scanned the crowd. "Where's your family?" My heart raced as I took in the scene. My family was absent, replaced by a group of Emily's friends. I felt the blood drain from my face. This was not just a mix-up, this was a full-blown hijacking of my wedding. "Emily!" I called out, marching toward her, anger bubbling to the surface. "What is going on?" She turned, feigning innocence. "Samantha. Isn't this beautiful? I thought we could share the day. A double wedding, maybe?" "Double wedding?" I spat, incredulous. "This isn't your day. You can't just steal my wedding and my guests." Her smile faded, replaced by a look of smug satisfaction. "Oh, but I think I can. Everyone loves me. You know that." The tension in the room was palpable as guests shifted uncomfortably. I felt the world tilt beneath me. This was a betrayal unlike anything I had experienced. Years of living in Emily's shadow came rushing back, the way she always found a way to take what was mine, from the spotlight to my friends. That I took a step back, reeling. I had to think. I wouldn't let her get away with this. I would find a way to reclaim my day, to expose her for the fraud she was. As the laughter resumed, I turned away, heart racing. I had to act fast. I could feel the gaze of the guests on my back, a mixture of confusion and sympathy. But as I looked back at Emily, her confident grin ignited a fire within me. I would show her that revenge was a dish best served cold. That night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't shake the humiliation. I had to take back what was mine. I needed a plan, a way to turn the tables on Emily. My mind raced with ideas, and inspiration struck like lightning. What if I started a YouTube channel? I could document everything, the chaos, the pranks, the fallout. My channel would become a platform for revenge, a way to expose Emily for who she truly was. The next morning, I set to work. I filmed a dramatic introduction, recounting my story, showcasing Emily's audacious theft of my wedding. I felt a rush of adrenaline as I posted the video. Within hours, comments flooded in, filled with support and encouragement. "Go get her, Samantha," one viewer wrote. "We're with you." With every view and comment, my confidence grew. I was not just a victim, I was a force to be reckoned with. And as I plotted my next move, I could almost see Emily's face when she realized I was no longer the quiet sister she could overshadow. The following week, I decided to kick things off with a bang. I enlisted Jenna to help me pull off my first prank. We devised a plan to replace Emily's bridal gown with a hideous neon tutu. The look on her face when she discovered it would be priceless. The day arrived, and I could hardly contain my excitement. As Emily prepared for her own wedding ceremony, Jenna and I set the plan in motion. We slipped into the bridal suite, quickly swapping out her stunning dress with the garish tutu. The moment Emily stepped out, the room erupted into laughter. Her face turned a shade of crimson, and the guests gasped in shock. "What is this?" she shrieked, hands on her hips. "Just a little surprise, sis." I called out, Barely able to contain my glee at the laughter echoed around me. I felt a surge of victory. This was just the beginning. I was ready to take back my story, and Emily would pay for every moment she had stolen from me, but little did I know, Emily wasn't about to back down easily. The game was on, and it was only going to get more dangerous. The neon tutu prank sent shockwaves through Maplewood, but Emily's response was swift and calculated. Rather than retreating in embarrassment, she leaned into the chaos, framing herself as the wronged sister. She went live on her own social media, tears streaming down her cheeks, spinning a tale of sibling rivalry that painted me as the villain. Why can't she just be happy for me? Emily sobbed, clutching her tutu as if it were a badge of honor. I've always been in her shadow. I watched in disbelief as the comments poured in, many of our mutual friends expressing sympathy for Emily and outrage toward me. I felt the blood rush to my head. This wasn't just a prank war anymore, it was an all-out battle for the hearts and minds of our community. Determined not to let her manipulate the narrative, I devised a more elaborate plan. It was time for a counterattack. I would expose Emily's antics for what they really were, a series of desperate ploys for attention. I began filming a new video, titled Behind the Scenes with Samantha, The Truth About Emily. In it, I recounted stories from our childhood, showcasing how Emily had always been the center of attention, how she had sabotaged my moments, and how this wedding was just the latest example. I added clips from our family gatherings, showing her penchant for drama and theatrics. The response was overwhelming. Comments like, "Team Samantha," flooded in, bolstering my confidence. But I knew Emily wouldn't sit idly by. The tension between us simmered, each of us waiting for the other to make the next move. Just when I thought I had the upper hand, Emily struck back. She hosted a lavish party, inviting everyone from our childhood friends to distant relatives, flaunting her wedding plans. I felt the sting of exclusion but was determined not to let it break me. Instead, I decided to crash her party in style that I enlisted Jenna and a few friends to help execute the ultimate prank. We created a fake wedding invitation for Emily's event, which we printed on gaudy paper and filled with absurd details, like a dress code of inflatable costumes. As we spread the word, excitement built among the guests, many of whom were more than willing to join in the chaos. On the night of the party, I arrived in an inflatable dinosaur costume, my friends behind me in similar get-ups. The look of horror on Emily's face when she opened the door was priceless. The guests roared with laughter, and I felt a rush of triumph. "What is this?" Emily sputtered, hands on her hips, her carefully curated evening unraveling before her eyes. "Just thought we'd bring some fun," I chirped, reveling in the moment. As the night continued, things took a turn. Emily, caught in a whirlwind of embarrassment, began lashing out. She accused me of ruining her special moment, and for the first time, I saw the cracks in her facade. The confident, carefree sister was crumbling, and a small part of me felt a pang of sympathy, but that feeling was fleeting. I had fought too hard to let my guard down now. As the party dissolved into chaos, with guests laughing and taking photos with us, Emily's anger morphed into desperation. She grabbed a microphone, her voice shaking with rage. "Samantha, you're pathetic. You think this is funny? This is just sad." The guests quieted, and I could feel the weight of their gazes on me. I stepped forward, heart pounding. "If anyone's pathetic, it's the one trying to steal my spotlight again," I shot back. With that, I turned to my friends and said, "Let's take a group photo." They cheered, rallying around me, and we posed dramatically, inflatables in full view, while Emily fumed in the background. The next day, I awoke to a flurry of notifications. My Dino Crash video was going viral, and comments were pouring in. Emily had become the punchline of a joke she had started. I felt a sense of vindication, but deep down, I knew this battle wasn't just about revenge, it was about healing the rift between us. I decided it was time to confront Emily one last time. I invited her to a neutral location, a coffee shop in town. As she walked in, I noticed the weariness in her eyes. "Can we just talk?" I asked, my voice steady. She sighed, sitting down. I get it. I've been awful. But you have to understand, I've always felt overshadowed by you. I took a deep breath, letting her words sink in. Emily, I've always supported you. But you can't keep stealing my moments. It hurts. She looked down, tears pooling in her eyes. I thought if I could have just one moment, it would be enough. Emily, it's not too late for us, I said gently. Let's stop this feud and start over. As we talked, walls began to crumble. I could see the guilt and regret in her eyes. For the first time, we were on the same side, both of us victims of our own insecurities. Weeks passed, and our family gathered once more, but this time, it was different. Emily and I worked together to create a joint video series, Sisters Reunited, where we shared our stories and lessons learned. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and slowly, the rift between us healed. As we stood together, arms linked, we faced the camera, ready to tell our tale. We may have fought for years, but now we're ready to support each other, I said, smiling at Emily. Because sisterhood is about love, not rivalry, she added, and the sincerity in her voice warmed my heart. In that moment, I realized that revenge had not only brought me strength, but had also opened the door to forgiveness. We were no longer just sisters in competition, we were allies in life, ready to face whatever came next together, and as I looked at Emily, I knew that our story was just beginning.